All right, next question, ladies. We have a plethora of waist trainers jumping on the vlogging bandwagon, and often with misinformation that is not only inaccurate, but can be harmful, not only to the people watching the videos, but to those unsuspecting corsets that those women are wearing. What are your thoughts on this, and do you feel the need to intervene or hope to counter with good information? Let's start with you, Meghann.
Well, I'm sort of torn about it because for my viewers, I want them to receive correct information, but I won't necessarily mention that what they particularly are doing is wrong. It's like, well, this is how you're supposed to do it and why, both for the longevity of your corset and so you don't hurt yourself. A lot of the information that I had looked up when I was much younger was only in German. There's a very large culture around corsets in Germany and German-speaking countries. There are a lot of different reasons for that, but it's really just something that developed differently. And when I look at other people's videos and I see something that I don't personally agree with or I think is wrong, I kind of want to say something, but at the same time, I was like, well, you bought the corset, it's yours to ruin if you want. If they complain about it hurting, I said, well, you can correct it this way, but otherwise, it's one of those things I just sort of bite my tongue about.
What about you, Phoenix?
Oh, well, I agree with Meghann that it's obviously their corset and their money spent on that corset, and it's very disappointing to watch somebody do something horrible, and I cringe, of course. And I guess anytime I see something like that, I try to find a question that my viewers had asked me that would correspond with that, so that in case they had seen that video, that I could correct it in that way. But I wouldn't go out and attack a person on their video because that's their channel, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Andrea?
Well, I have commented on some people's videos. I thought maybe they just don't know, and I'd try to inform them, but sometimes they just didn't want to hear the information. They kind of wanted to do what they wanted to do. So I just would watch the videos and kind of cringe. And then for myself, if I would just put out in my videos the things that I believe to be true and hope that people would follow that versus what other videos have done, basically.
I'm very much of the philosophy live and let live, and I try to give the best information as possible on my channel. And when there are things that I don't have a personal experience in, then I will try to direct them to any of these other people's channels. And I'm very open about this sort of thing. If I do see misinformation around there on the internet or things that I don't personally prescribe to, then I will make my own video and say, this is what I do. I think that our community and our audience is very good at self-moderating. And if they see something on another person's channel that they don't agree with or that they think is wrong, they will be the one to comment. But I'm not exactly the person to do that, especially when I feel that my opinion isn't welcome. But that said, we all have our own individual experiences, and what works for me might not work for somebody else. And even though we all agree on much of the same things about corseting, there's a reason that we agree and we have these guidelines, because not to oppress people or make people follow a certain way, but because from our experiences, this is what has worked best for us. That said, there is no one of us who is really the end-all and the be-all when it comes to corseting and corset information. And I always tell people, like, even on my own videos, take the information with a grain of salt. I encourage you to seek out other places and do a lot of research, because whatever you want to do for corseting, whether it's for medical use or fashion use, just be knowledgeable about it and go about it intelligently. Yeah.
And Byrdi, what about you?
I agree with a lot of the girls. You see a lot of things that do make you cringe out there, and I kind of pick and choose if I'm going to respond. I like to get a feel for the person by seeing all of what they do and maybe reading through some of the comments that they have made. And sometimes people just don't want your advice. So at that point, you just, you kind of just step back and be like, okay. But if I see somebody that is honestly trying and they want things to work properly and they just they need a little help, then I have made some comments before, you know, like your corset might need to be flipped around the other way, or I've also recommended people to other channels such as Lucy's who genuinely want more information and just don't know where to look, and then I think it's proper to point them in the right direction then. So.
Wow, thank you.